Sup Stealthers, Sneaky here. I got a new monitor, and this thing is pretty cool, though it is taking a bit of time to get used to. Now, you might be wondering what happened to my TV and why I have this new monitor here. It broke. Change is hard and it's difficult to adapt, so I don't want anything to change. This is great.
Skylanders has a lot of different characters for you to play as, 32 in total. So when the next game was coming out, they had to come up with some new characters to make purchasable. However, there were only 16 new characters planned for this game, 8 new giants and 8 new core characters. But 16 figures is nowhere near enough to make profits for Dad, so Toys for Bob had two ideas. Either A, create at least 8 new characters, one for each element, or B, do the same damn thing again. I choose this one. Toys for Bob decided to re-release 24 figures from Skylanders Spyro's Adventure for the next game in the series, Skylanders Giants. And they would give this series of Skylanders a brand new name.
Well, that's the most original thing I've seen in recent years.
Hey y'all, Scott here.
Series 2 Skylanders, as they were called, were supposed to be the DS in 2005 because it was supposed to print money. These characters were supposed to be the exact same as the original, but with one difference. Okay, I guess that's one. But these figures had one unique upgrade compared to their previous Skylander, the Wow Pow. I know someone's favorite literacy term.
Yes!
The Wow Pow is basically a second Soul Gem for a Skylander. However, these things are way more expensive, and half the time they are just not worth it. Like Series 2 Hex has a really good Wow Pow, which is effectively an insta-kill attack that takes a few seconds to charge up. However, you have someone like Drill Sergeant who has an automatic turret, which sounds cool until you find out it hits like 2 damage and it's pretty useless. If these characters had these attacks already, or maybe had slightly different movesets, it would be better. But no, they are the same exact figure, but with one new upgrade. And the Series 1 figure already works in the game along with Spyro's Adventure, so what's the point? Plus, they have the same exact stats, and the Series 2 figure is just overall better, so why continue to sell the Series 1 figure at the same time as the Series 2? My Wii U crashed, but at least it agrees with me. There were just so many things that didn't make any sense when these things came out. But what I do know is that I have a strong love-hate relationship with these. Some of these are pretty cool. As stated already, we have characters like Hex, who I think really benefited from a Wow Pow, no longer being an
I forgot this one existed.
Skylander, to a
I forgot this one existed. But at least I have its arms.
Other characters also got some really great Wow Pows. Sonic Boom's child attacks got way better thanks to the Super Baby ability.
Damn, who knew incest would be beneficial?
And Bash's Rolling Thunder Wow Pow hits harder than a hammer.
Huh?
And Trigger Happy gets a massive laser on his minigun. It's okay. Like I said, these can be good, but for me, they are underwhelming and just not worth it.
However, there is one Skylanders Wow Pow that I really enjoy. I swear I'm not biased. And let me prove that to you.
Series 2 Stealth Elf's Wow Pow is the Knife Blender. You hold the main attack button down, and Stealth Elf unleashes a 360-degree knife-spinning attack that does less damage than her primary attack, which is much faster and hits harder.
It's good! I swear!
But there is one Wow Pow that I think has a very unique story, and one that I have a lot of respect towards, and that's Zap's Wow Pow for Riley. This Wow Pow is just Zap's normal wave ride ability, but he does a giant slam at the end, so nothing crazy. But the name is important. This move is dedicated to and named after a boy named Riley Van Zyl, a 4-year-old boy who had passed away from a very rare form of cancer in May of 2012. Toys for Bob heard of this, and since Zap was his favorite Skylander, they decided to honor his legacy by naming a Wow Pow after him. I think that this was a very sweet thing to do, and I think it just shows that Toys for Bob really does listen to their fans, and they really do care about them. In saying that, I'm glad they went indie. But aside from that nice gesture they did with Zap, these things were really unnecessary, as I have already shown. So it only makes sense to make more! Yeah, the Series 2 figures must have sold really well because Vicarious Visions decided to make more reposes for Skylanders, giving them the new name of... Oh, come on, guys, you gotta stop winning with these names here. Series 3 Skylanders were introduced for the game, and they were the same damn figures yet again! Several figures got the Series 3 treatment, Gilgrunt, Chop Chop, and God's Gift to Man, but they also kept the Series 2 name for some Skylanders, like Jetvac, Pop Fizz, Chill, and Stupid Dumb Stupid Even Camo returned, as he was one of the characters who never received a Series 2 figure in Giants, along with 7 other Skylanders from Spyro's Adventure, giving those characters the name of the Forgotten 8. You know, I think the name works. I mean, can you imagine going up to someone and asking, you know Warnado?
What the is a Warnado?
But still, it's cool. I like Camo, and I was glad to see him return. That still doesn't change my opinion of these things, however. Yeah, so they are literally the same exact things as they were in Giants. Or maybe I should rephrase. They are almost the same as they were in Giants, but with 2 differences. Make that 3. First difference, they have names now. Yeah, instead of just calling them Series 2 Drobot or Series 2 Prison Break, they actually have names now, and it helps to differentiate them a bit. Mega Ram Spyro, Hornblast Whirlwind, Jesus f***. I really like this inclusion, as it helps whenever I'm telling someone about them. But still, they are not great because, second difference, they have different Wow Pows now, which sounds fine. I mean, another new ability. I'm not complaining. I could just sell my older versions of my Skylanders. But these different Wow Pows are replacements for the last ones. They do not have the original Wow Pows from the last game. These Skylanders have completely different Wow Pows than the previous series, and some of them are just worse than the Series 2 versions. It's just unnecessary to make these Series 3 Skylanders even more stupid than they already were. They should have included the Wow Pow from the last figure and added it onto the new one as well. I mean, I get it, they want the characters to be balanced and they want to keep things pure, but if they wanted to keep things pure, you should have just not made the damn things! The only thing good about these figures compared to the last ones was the figure designs, as I think these are leagues better than what we got last time. I've changed my mind. And you wouldn't believe it, but Skylanders Trap Team is here, and they need to make money. So Toys for Bob did it again, and created...
You know, I find it really strange that they only made 5 reposes for this game, and yet it's still the most expensive to buy things for.
Yep, they did it again, and made 5 reposes for Skylanders Trap Team. And these things are so boring that it's not even worth talking about them. But I'm going to anyways, otherwise someone's gonna complain. In this game, we got 2 Series 2 Skylanders, 2 Series 3 Skylanders, and only 1 Series 4 Skylander, that being Tidal Wave Gilgrunt.
Godspeed, you magnificent bastard.
Fear the fish!
If it wasn't clear already that this was Toys for Bob's favorite character from the series, then the Wow Pow should indicate that. This is the only Wow Pow in the game that actually makes me say,
Wow! Pow!
because all the other ones are just... they're just so boring that I actually had to grind up some characters just to get them for this video. Pop Fizz grows big and that... yeah, that's really cool. Rhino just goes wild on his bike while he's riding it. And it's just so inconsistent whether he's gonna hit enemies or not. And Shroom Boom plays pinball.
Ah! Hello? Fine, yes, I'll mention the bird.
Bird up!
Jetvac is a little bit better than his last. However, this is Jetvac we're talking about. He's not that great to begin with. At least his Series 2 figure from Swap Force looks good. That's still not saying much.
And that's it for reposes. Somewhat.
Yeah, there were also another set of reposes that were released with Trap Team that were different from the normal series variants, dubbed Eon's Elite Skylanders. These Skylanders were aimed at the collectors, you know, those freaks. These characters had shiny metallic paint jobs, and they came in plastic display cases that had sticky bases on them to keep the characters in place. However, the parents that bought these for their kids thought, "Oh god, I gotta save the environment!"
I did it.
So if you've ever bought an Eons Elite Skylander secondhand, you're probably not gonna get the plastic case.
In terms of in-game differences, the Eons Elite figures are the same exact figures as the normal ones, aside from being fully leveled up outside of the box and having boosted stats. As if she wasn't already powerful enough. I know I didn't talk much about Eons Elite figures, but I'll save that for another video. Who's gonna stop me? Overall, these things were pretty pointless in the grand scheme of things. It's obvious that they were only made to make money. I mean, do you really think they could have released Giants with only 16 characters? Oh, you're a fucking moron! They were only extra toys made to throw on a shelf just to say, "Buy me!" I would understand these things a little bit more if they were sold as replacements for the original Skylanders, but no, they were sold at the same exact time as the normal Series 1 figure, and they already worked in the game, so what's the point? Again, this just goes to show that these things still have zero purpose. I think reposes are one of, if not the main reason as to why Skylanders failed, because these things oversaturated the hell out of the market to the point where kids would say, "Oh look Mom, it's Series 4 Gilgrunt, can I have him?" And the parents would come back and say, "Oh, but don't we already have like 6 Gilgrunts at home?" And then the kids would snap back and say, "But this one's riding a serpent!"